It's interesting, Mike, because when I think about like the 2021 game, it's probably the least exciting of the three. I think that's a fair statement. I think you'd say, right? It's a snow game, so you don't have like the usual downfield shots and stuff like that. Like it was a very just run heavy, bully ball type football game, influenced by the weather in ways. So very different than the usual football game, but still just the nostalgia, the fact that it had been, a decade since Michigan had won. It was just such a special game, in my heart, I'm sure in the minds of many. So for me, I'm definitely having to go 2021, probably as my favorite of the three, if I'm having to pick.
I'm right there with you. Number one overall, 2021. And the reason I was interested to hear your perspective here is because I've seen some people rank this most recent game, the 2023 game, as the best of the three. Actually, there's some polls floating around on Twitter or on X right now, and there's a lot of votes. And I think that's just recency bias, maybe, because to me, that 2021 victory over Ohio State, Aiden Hutchinson's 3 sacks, the Ojabo sack. You got Hassan Haskins 5 touchdowns. You've got Cade McNamara leading the team. You've got the snow falling. You got the Hassan Haskins picture where he's just looking like the Messiah floating over the Ohio State players. The release of really 2 decades of emotions, right? Because we got that one win in 2011, but it was really 2 decades of domination. And that whole game, every single play, if you're a real Michigan fan watching that 2021 game, you're just hanging on by a thread because you don't believe that it's possible. Something in you is just like, this is not possible. We're going to lose. After the JT was short game and all this stuff, it's like you're just hanging on. And then finally Hassan Haskins breaks that run and he hurdles the Ohio State defender. And that was kind of that moment where you're like, oh my God, like we're going to do this, And so I'm getting chills just thinking about it. To me, that was hands down the best football game watching experience of my life. I know you were there.
You really couldn't sum it up any better than that, honestly, because the whole vibe in the stadium was just like total disbelief that the game was even going to come to an end in that fashion. You know what I mean? Michigan was up. I know myself, like I was constantly looking at the clock, like all of it added up to that, like Michigan was going to walk away with the W. But just having gone through what you went through for the past several years, you just still didn't believe it. So I just don't know if there will ever be like a feeling of like joy or anticipation that I ever experience, like just waiting for so many years for Michigan to walk away with a W and then it finally happening in that situation in a year where nobody expected that it would. Because let's face it, like these last couple years, people expected Michigan to be great, right? It wasn't like in 2021 when they were coming off of a shit season the year before, and everyone were just kind of like, So I think it was just way more unprecedented. I think that it was just a lot, just more release of pent up aggression, and I just think there's no mimicking what Wolverine fans felt in that time.
And I'll sum it up with this statement, and this is going to sound like the lamest thing in the world to people that are not diehard Michigan fans, but if you're a diehard Michigan fan, you're going to feel this on a deep level. That 2021 game literally changed my life. You know what I mean? And I don't feel that way about a lot of events that happen, but like that game literally changed my life. And so to me, that is a spectacular moment that has to be number one. I'm glad we see eye to eye on that. And so
And
I think
even
I
I'll take it a step further, Mike. Like, I think Michigan could win the Natty this year. And I don't know if there will ever be a feeling that's as like even still, if we experience that, I don't know if that feeling will be the same as what I felt in 2021. And that's not to say that I won't feel good, motherfucking good. I'm saying if we win the Natty, right? I'm just saying that that feeling in itself after winning that game in 2021, it just kind of I feel like holds a special place in the minds of most of the Michigan faithful.
Man, I agree with you. I don't know though. I think winning that Natty might top it. But it's almost like an extension of the same team. You know, like what we've witnessed over these last 3 years. It's like if Michigan wins the national championship this year, Hassan Haskins and David Ojabo and even Cade McNamara and
They
Aiden
all win the
Hutchinson,
Natty.
they all win it, man. Like, and even guys like Olu that came in last year and just played like it. I've never experienced a buildup from year to year where I feel like, okay, this is just chapter 3 in the same story, you know, and it just feels that way. And so it'll be interesting if that Natty comes around, if it does compare to the game in 2021. So that's
Well,
our number one.
I've said it on multiple occasions. Like it feels like a trilogy, right? Like almost like a
Yeah.
Star Wars trilogy in some ways. Like you've got the essence of Michigan when they were like the young apprentice, kind of realizing a little bit of their potential in 2021, and then second year Michigan where they're like about to go handle business only to like get chopped down thinking that they're not the hot shit that they thought they were by TCU. And now here
Yeah.
they are, Return of the Jedi.
Man, let's go.
You know what I mean? Let's go. I hope that they fucking win this one, man. We'll see what the Big Ten championship has in store, but I get goosebumps just talking about it, man. You are right though. It just they all kind of have this collective togetherness about them the last 3 years in a weird way. So we'll just see where it all goes, buddy. It's been crazy to cover the team through it all. I know that.